Have you ever thought about what the horizon is? Take a look at the image that you're looking at here. You've got this beautiful, just beautiful blue sky day. If this were just a few millimeters larger in frame, what do you think you could see out on the horizon? I mean, I really don't know how to convey how mysterious and amazing the horizon is, but if you haven't spent time photographing it, because you can't see what I have seen with the naked eye, you have to be able to zoom in. But anyway, I just want you to think about the horizon, because the horizon is the focal point of our vision when we have nothing obstructing our immediate field of view. Okay, if the field of view was as open as you can get, as this image is here, I'm standing on a dock that is on the east side of Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana, and I am facing roughly, I think, southwest. Okay, but how far away do you think that horizon is? And what Well, I don't even know. Like, these questions are only coming out because of the whole discussion of the flat Earth. So it's almost like you can't really lead the witness without asking questions that are too specific, so that you're giving the answer away with your question. But like, what else in your mind could be the reason why the limit of your vision is the way this appears here? You know what I mean? Like, imagine if you were to start your life over again, and be somewhat mature in your thinking, but then not know anything really, and you looked out at the horizon and you were just like wondering, like, wow, what is that? Like, look how far away that is. That's really interesting. Like, I wonder if I could get there. And then you get into a boat, and then you get in this boat on this water, and then you head toward that line that's directly ahead of you, and it never gets closer, apparently, to you. It just keeps extending in front of you. It just keeps rendering as if it's a program, because you can't see past that point of infinity, right? Okay, so begin here with what you can see with your naked eye. You can't see anything specific with your naked eye out there on the horizon. Can you? Should we zoom in? Like, what's out there? Oh, look, there's a look at that. Look, this is the field of view here. Like, can you see, where is this? Where is this out here? Can you see that? Everything to the left is just open sky above the water. And then in the middle of the frame, we have these dots, these images, and what I think we could safely interpret are two boats. Okay? So we can zoom in on this center image here, and lo and behold, you can see clearly that there is a motorcraft with two gentlemen probably fishing, and then you have a sailboat with an open sail. So you have two boats here, and notice, I want you to now take into consideration, is the sailboat in front of, on, or behind the horizon at this point? Because this is roughly what you can see with your naked eye, and that's a sailboat. And we've been told by the authorities that all you have to do is go out to a large body of water and watch ships go over the horizon. So my question is, how do you know where this boat is with your naked eye? Can you see, what would you say? Now as we zoom into it, it is apparently in front of the horizon. Okay, the horizon is clearly above the the hull, okay? And then as you go to as you continue on to the right of the frame of the photo, you have now apparently sky only above the water, okay? So if I were to interpret this mark, this mark, this mark, this mark, this mark as distinguished from this mark, it would appear to me that this entire image of dark whatever is one solid image. This is one solid, rectangle. This is one solid rectangle, taller ones here. So, whatever, like, like, how far away is this from this? Okay? Anyway, okay, so now this is what you can see. So again, as I interpret this with my naked eye, it appears to me, before I know anything, it's apparent to me that this is just simply one solid object. I would assume that this is entirely physical. Everything that I'm looking at, like this boat is entirely physical, this boat's entirely physical, this image here that's above the water apparently, this visual image that's above the water here, this is 100% physical, is what I'm trying to convey. That's my assumption, if I were to look at this naturally and be taking this into consideration for the very first time. Okay? But now, what I cannot do with my eye, I can do with this still image, and that is zoom in to what I actually now can make out, and I will see that there is a clear indication of mirage. Okay? Now, what does one know about that? Like, you can't even see this with your naked eye. You can't even see that there's a mirage out here with your naked eye. So if you don't know that there's a mirage right here, you're going to think that this degree of altitude above the water is sky when it's not. It's a mirage of the sky. So what that means is that the mirage that is a visible phenomenon, the mirage that is at the surface, or the, what is it called? The offing, okay? This limit of your apparent visual acuity is called in maritime lingo the offing, okay? The degree of altitude above the offing, which is this point here where the water stops and the sky starts, or the sky stops and the water starts, this point right here of division, this horizon, okay, is not physical. It is optical. It is a result of the conditions of the medium through which you are looking, with or without mirage. It just so happens that in this photo, because we can zoom in, we have more information that there is a mirage out here. What that means is this: every time you look out to the horizon and there is a mirage right here, but you don't know it, you might draw some incorrect conclusions about what you think this horizon is and why it is, okay? Because the only thing that's limiting your vision right here at this point is the condition of the medium through which you are looking, in addition to the entire physiology of the human condition with our optics. Okay? We have to take into consideration this entire field of view right here, this entire field of view as we are looking at New Orleans, Nolens, as we are looking at this distance of 28 miles, okay? What you need to understand is, as I zoom in onto the horizon, okay, As you see this boat in proximity to us, it's in proximity to us. It is closer to us than the sailboat, because in this image we have a demonstration of perspective. The boat in the distance to the right is apparently higher in the image. Now, that's not altitude, that's distance higher. That's farther away. That sailboat is farther away than that motorcraft. But both of these boats are level to one another. Both of these boats have a distance to the horizon, and that distance is level. And that sailboat has a distance to the shoreline, and that motorcraft has a distance to the shoreline, and that is level. So what you are looking at here now, as you look past this center image of this motorcraft and you raise your eyes to the horizon, to that division in your visual space, at that point where the water stops, the mirage starts, but the water continues into the distance according to the laws of physics. Just like this boat is apparently higher, it just is farther away. Okay, so everything in the distance right now is now following that line of perspective, except for the fact that in the top portion of the screen, we're looking through air and moisture and temperature and pressure and all of these different elements over a distance of probably 24 miles. So what I'm saying is that from where I'm standing and I'm taking a picture, this horizon is roughly, let's say, 5 miles away. If this horizon is 5 miles away and New Orleans is 28 miles away, that means that from the beginning of the mirage to the end of the mirage, the vanishing line here, okay, so you have in this image right here, you have this building, you can see the top of the building, and then as you go down to the left, you have this almost like a duckbill. That is called the vanishing line. From the top down, that's where the mirage starts, the vanishing line, okay? The line at the bottom is just simply called the horizon. I mean, I don't think science really has a name for the bottom of the mirage. I call it the disclosing line, because it's the disclosing line because it brings it. Oh, you know what? I think it's called the limit to the mirage. Whereas vanishing line is where the mirage begins. They don't have a term like vanishing line. They just call it the limit of the mirage. But I do have a term, and I think it's appropriate, and it's called the disclosing line. So the vanishing line is where the physical reality vanishes, and the disclosing line is where the physical reality begins again. So everything below the disclosing line is the physical reality of what's behind the mirage. There is water below the mirage here. You see in this image, the way I'm speaking just commonly, the water is below the sky here, right? The water is below the mirage, right? I lost my train of thought.